I gave out an assignment to watch a video by Bob Proctor on the subconscious mind. If you haven't done so yet, do so now. And then come back, because we're going to build and expand upon the model that he has given. And everything that he's teaching in that video is going to give you a basic understanding and control of all your magic. Now, refrain from being polarized and avoid dismissing Bob Proctor altogether just because he was in the secret, which a lot of people equate to hogwash. And it is, at least in the way that they packaged it, because there is no law of attraction in Hermetics. The author just made it up by combining two of the Hermetic principles, the law of vibration and the law of correspondence. The law of attraction is actually the Hermetic law of polarity. But they only gave you half of that, because it should have been the law of attraction and repulsion. See, because you can do both. But that wasn't even in the secret. It was all about visualizing what you want, and that, as I said before in the previous lesson, that's a feminine energy and is really not going to do much without that fiery, outgoing, dynamic male energy of the will. Visualization is important, but by itself, it will get you nothing. So they only gave you one half of one Hermetic principle, which wasn't even that Hermetic principle. It was a combination of two others. Now, if you were missing those particular parts of those two others, then maybe your magic really took off. But for most people, it just didn't work out. Now, what Bob Proctor's talking about in the video I had you go watch is the law of gender and how it relates to the mind. Now, the Kabbalion states that no creation, physical, mental, or spiritual, is possible without this principle. You have to combine the male and feminine energies in order to create new life. That's just how it is. And if you're not doing that, well, then you're just the weirdo in the basement dressing in robes and playing with wands. Now, we're not going to get into astrology just yet, but if you really want to know what you should be doing in life, take a look at your chart.
Want to hear something amazing? Is accepted.
So, now I'm podcasting.
You're looking for 24 hours. So now there's another reason to celebrate the season. Available at Shoppers Drug Mart and online at shoppersdrugmart.ca.
Alright, what the fuck is going on, everybody? So, now I'm podcasting on my way to work. Well, I made a video yesterday, and it's only about a 30-minute long video. I don't know if I'm going to continue to make them long or short, but I know attention spans, this is not to diss anybody, but I mean, you know, I'm a different kind of person, and probably why I make a longer kind of podcasts and longer kind of videos, but, I mean, I like long content, okay, something that's, you know, I'll watch all the 15, 20, half an hour, 10-minute Prater Xavier and Bert's videos all I want, but sometimes at night, it'd be nice to be able to just like, then, you know, I've recorded their content and made a large video out of many other videos multiple times. And, you know, I have Prater Xavier's programs that I've purchased all on a big video that I'll just play when I go to bed at night, you know, all in a row. So, you know, I make long content for people that want to use my stuff to program their mind if they choose to. So I try to keep my beliefs, unless I'm going to specifically talk about my beliefs and removing programming or whatever the case is, but I try to leave my beliefs in anything I feel the need to shove down your throat as like, well, this is why you should believe this, you know. I'm sure I have videos like that. I mean, I'm human, and that's a very human thing to do. But for the most part, I try not to do that, so that if you do choose to use this as, you know, programming, because, you know, you fall asleep to this, it's going to reaffirm that magic is real. All the ways I promote on here are going to be programmed in your mind that work because of my confidence, and, you know, the person you're listening to has no doubt in his mind that this shit works. Not a single fucking doubt. So, you know, I'm not gonna, Sorry. I lost my train of thought. I think I forgot a bank card. It's all good though. I got more than enough gas to get to and from. And I got more than enough food to be okay. So I'm okay. Alright, hopefully I didn't fuck up my podcast too bad. Wife called me to make sure I left the house. Snap me out. I know she does it out of love, so I can't even get mad at her. But anyway, so I have no doubt in my mind that magic works. And so you can definitely use my stuff to program you because I have I'm not saying if you listen to somebody who doesn't believe what they're saying or if they're bullshitting you, if it's going to work any less, as long as they're telling you the magic's real or whatever the case is. But, I think there's something to be said for absolute certainty. The person has first-hand knowledge and they're teaching it, you're going to hear that in their voice versus, someone who doesn't and they just start making up stories after, because you can tell, they'll be talking and they're kind of unsure, or they're answering a question without certainty, and then all of a sudden you'll see the correspondence come in their head. And they'll be like, it's like this, and which correspondence is something I teach with all the time. But when you're talking about anyways, the point is, the correspondence that you're talking about, I can go in detail on that, but not so much the topic at hand. And there's a disconnect there from, what they were talking about. Once again, I use correspondence all the time, so I'm not trying to say using correspondence means you're fake, because that's far from true. Using correspondence is one of the best things you can do. Just when I use a metaphor comparison, you can kind of very much, I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just a fucking crazy bastard. But anyways, so about 29 minutes was my newest video on YouTube, so that's been recorded. It'll be the first thing you hear on here. I hope you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Window's open and I'm having a smoke, but hoping you can hear me. And I put a bunch of birch, intro to witchcraft, after, because it goes through the books you need to read. It goes through, different types of symbolism, this type of magic, what sympathetic magic is, the law of sympathetic magic. It goes through the circle, all the tools, I think is as far as I got. Much about the watchers. There's so much good stuff there. And as much as he says it's intro to witchcraft and not so much ceremonial magic, I mean, I'm ceremonial witchcraft. I do both. And when I was performing magic, alright, my neophyte, I'm not supposed to do the watchtowers yet. I'm not supposed to do the great ritual of the hexagram. I'm not supposed to, make things come to me. But, I incorporated some witchcraft.
Through
part of you because you are confident enough to add and remove your own personal little things that you want in there. So I'm doing it, boys. Alright, I'm gonna get that loud enough to pass in the car here going up a hill. Broken just been. Sorry, guys. All right, now I passed the car. Focus back on you. Yeah, so you've passed the point of just like listening or watching the ritual, which is why I said yesterday, or the video you're going to listen to, I talked about recording your ritual, the audio of your ritual, playing it when you go to sleep. But not only are you kind of doing like a ritual in your head, programming yourself, this ritual faster, how to do it, whatever, maybe even doing it in the astral while you sleep. You're guiding your subconscious mind to do something while your conscious mind's asleep. And I think it's a really, really powerful thing. And I've done it a lot. Like, I was probably doing that. Well, there's probably a few weeks when I did nothing but that every night when I went to sleep. Probably 2 to 3 weeks in a row. Most likely 3. I'm all about that 21 days to create a new habit thing. Even my wife adopted it. She's been going to the gym now. She just took 2 days off because her friend... No, not 2 days off in a row. She took 2 days off, though. But before the 2 days off, she went to the gym. I think it was like 23 days she was in a row. And then she took the first day off, and then she went yesterday. No, but the day before yesterday, and took yesterday off. And it's only because her gym buddy was not feeling well. She wanted me to go with her, like I said, like here. She wanted me to go with her last night, but I was tired, and so on and so forth. But... so she's even taking that on, and it was funny because I told her, like, taking days off is important. It's just as important, like when you make a picture, that empty space is just as important as the picture, or else you can't see the picture. There's no defining it, right? So your days off are just as important as going to the gym, because, going to the gym every day becomes easy, becomes a routine, and then you're going to be doing those things. You're not actually pushing against heart weight. You're going to have to keep going up and make a big difference, whereas if you take a day off, go the next day, it's like, well, it's not so comfortable and easy to do. Just took a day off, and there's many reasons why days off, but you don't need to take like 4 days off after working out, like a week or something like that. You can take 1 day off, you do another couple of days, you get another day off. Anyways, he's like, yeah, I know. She's like, but my goal was just to get to the 21-day mark so that I can make this new habit. Word for word what my wife said, and I was like, I was blown away. I'm like, fuck off. She's like, yeah, I do listen to you when you talk sometimes. I was like, what? But this is the kind of thing I mean. Before, when I was doing magic, well, when I was just starting my neophyte, and I was excited to get to the stages of where I was, but even before that, even when I was just new age, I always tell my wife the things that I saw, the things that I know are now true, but haven't really experienced yet. Tell her, this is what you need to do, this is what we all need to do, this is what I'm going to do, blah, 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 blah. But without actually doing it, having the action and having the results, like, she's looking at me like, why are you changing? Like, I married this guy, now you're becoming this guy, and, beginning of hard times, right? But I'm getting results. I'm changing myself. We are more financially secure than we ever been. I mean, she's gotten so many raises. We've gotten so many weird things happen this year that, and I stopped pointing it out because I figured that's not helping either. Because if she wants to be on board with it, okay, the only explanation is Corey. And I come out there and be like, see, I told you so. She's just going to like rebel and be like, oh, you fucking prick. No way. I'm like, yeah, man, it is true. I'm not taking that on, you dick. So I stopped doing that because I realized, and this is what I mean, like, I'm far from fucking perfect, y'all. I'm far from fucking whatever. Like, I make so many mistakes, you have no idea. And it doesn't matter. You can make mistakes and keep manifesting. It's not like you only get to manifest once you're like this perfect fucking soul. It's like, no, you're flawed. And most of your flaws are actually going to come from programming. Like, things you think you should not be. This way you're going to be like, well, this is my flaws. This is my problems. It's like, well, not really. Probably, I mean, even, who knows? Even that 5% that I'm about to say, like 5% of it's probably legit. The rest of it's probably just programming. Well, probably that 5% is probably flaws too, because, and we all come from the Godhead, and that's the creator of this realm, and he's perfect. Well, we're part of that perfect. So no matter what we do, we're perfect. So we can't really fuck up. And I know, like, there's evil acts and fucking acts and all that, and that's fucking up, absolutely, but You know, if someone's not doing that to show the rest of humanity what's wrong, and we have no examples to go by, we have no hardships, loss for us to know why it's bad. It's like, okay, killing's bad, you take another life. Why is that bad? Like, imagine if no one ever died. We're still all the same fucks that's been here from the beginning of time. And we were told that killing's bad. And we never knew why. Or taking your own life is bad, and we didn't know why. Well, it would take somebody doing it, and some fucking family, as shitty as this sounds, but some family, to feel that loss and hardship, to realize why this is terrible. This is bad. If there's such a thing as bad, then this is what it is, because not only do we lose that person, not in our society anymore, we all miss them. The family feel blaming themselves. They're without their loved one. Look at it, they're a mess. Now they're turning to drugs, and everybody comes near them, they attack because they're angry and mad at life. So they're creating more negative emotion, more negative thought, more negative actions. And I'm not using negative in the right sense, but you know what, I'm trying to use a term that most people understand. So, you know what I mean? So because this person's in pain, everything they do, they're creating more pain for everybody else. And that's why these actions are bad. And it's like, without experiencing those actions, we can't know why those actions are bad. You know what I mean? That's kind of the point. So it's like, once you know what's bad, you try not to do what's bad, but at times it's going to be inevitable. And not inevitable in a sense like, oh, okay, you could have chose right. Absolutely, you probably always have the choice to choose right, you know? But once you make a bad choice and something happens, it's like you have these innate emotions that kick on, and kick your ass sometimes. And like, what the fuck can you do about it? If you're not like actively training to do like what I'm doing, well, there's really nothing you can do about it. Besides trying to become in a depolarized state and, you know, doing the greater ritual of the hexagram, there's really nothing you're going to be able to do about any of that shit. I can't fucking see if I can fucking pass these motherfuckers. But I got the dotted line, but this guy in front of me is too scared to pass, so I gotta wait instead of double passing. Anyways, don't matter. So, ultimately right now I'm killing time. Not killing time, but a little bit, I guess, for a few reasons. One, I think I got about 2.5 hours of content on here, and I'm probably only an hour away from my job site, maybe even less right now. So I was trying to, you know, get that half an hour out of the way, plus all my recordings were still uploading to Spreaker as we speak. Charging the phone at the same time. So, yeah, so I decided to talk about, you know, whatever I'm talking about. But I don't know how I got on the rant of what's bad and all that shit, but I'm sure there's a reason behind it. But nonetheless, probably going to go over to my recording soon. But I don't think I killed a half an hour, that's for sure. I'm at 13 minutes. Okay, all right. So, anyways, so the main topics I was talking about in this was symbolism and why symbolism, you know, works for magic. I mean, I went over that in detail, how symbolism is the language of the subconscious mind. It talks, learns, and communicates with pictures, symbolism, symbols, whatever the case is. That's why there is power in symbols. Anybody tells you there's no power in symbols is, you know, fucked. Doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. However, you know, things are taken to the extreme. So, like, I think it was Thunder Wizards doing this video. Someone asked me if the McDonald's M is a sigil. And I agree that it is a sigil. And he says it's not a sigil. And this is the problem. You get into that state and everything is a symbol and everything. And he's right. It's not to that extreme. But in the same sense, whether someone created that M on purpose and said whoever looks at this M is going to become hungry and crave my food, or that M eventually over time got associated with I'm hungry, and as soon as you see that, your mind associates food. And one of those times where you had McDonald's and it was so tasty and so good, or maybe like you had a birthday party as a kid there, so like you have this great emotion associated with McDonald's, and you that M associated.
Subconscious mind. The subconscious then takes that, processes it, and then gives birth to or manifests the results. It will first try to manifest the results internally, and if it can't do that, it will manifest them externally into your reality with synchronicity. And this happens whether you're aware of it or not, and why people are doing magic, whether they're aware of it or not. One thing that really clarified it for me personally was one day I had a craving for McDonald's. Now, consciously, I can't stand McDonald's. And so I sat there wondering why I had this craving for McDonald's. It didn't make any sense. I can't stand McDonald's, yet I want McDonald's. And I mentioned it to my girlfriend that I'm having this craving despite knowing that I really don't like it. And she said, well, did you see the McDonald's bag I left on the table? No, I did not. At least not consciously. See, she had McDonald's the night before when I was sleeping and left the bag on the table. And as I'm passing through the room the next day, I didn't see it consciously, but my subconscious picked up on it, processed that corporate sigil logo, and manifested it as an internal craving for McDonald's. And this is why I said you really got to guard the gates of your mind. And that if you're not controlling your magic, it will be controlled for you. And for those of you that are going to run out later and get McDonald's, I'm sorry. Now see, the subconscious mind sees all and knows all. And this is why it picked up on it when my conscious mind did not. Almost sounds like the all-seeing eye, doesn't it? Oh, dude, you're blowing my mind. And yeah, well, magic is sex of the mind. And it's through this principle that NLP works, that people are being bombarded with subliminal messaging on a constant basis. See? And it was after the McDonald's episode that I won't even leave a newspaper with negative articles or headlines face up to where my subconscious can pick up on that. See, I don't want that to be processed by my subconscious and then manifested somehow in my life. And you think about this as you're scrolling through the news feed on Facebook and just scrolling down without reading anything. Well, your subconscious mind is picking all of that up. And if you want to use this principle to your advantage, you might want to write out positive messages and hide them around the house. Or have your significant other do it so that your conscious mind isn't really seeing them, but your subconscious is picking it up and processing it and then manifesting it. And we'll expand upon that in the next lesson. But the subconscious mind truly is the link to what we refer to as the divine. It is the portal to the other realms, and it is the 0 point, ones and zeros in a binary system, male and female. It's the 0 point for all magic. And yes,
Sam, you get that feeling. Whichever one, there now is symbolism and meaning behind that McDonald's M that is going to do something to you, especially when you're hungry. Now, if you're not hungry, seeing that M might not do anything. Or maybe seeing that M creates an internal hunger. Who the fuck knows? But there is something to that. And, no one can know for sure what that is because there's no way to really... you can do divination to reveal, hey, is the McDonald's M a fucking sigil with meaning behind it? I tend to think it is. But... I can't say that for sure or without a shadow of a doubt, so, I'll leave it at that. But the mind is ruled by symbolism. Symbolism is one of the most powerful things you can use, and the fastest way you can get suggestions implanted into your mind. That's fact. That's fucking fact, baby. This is why archetypes are so important. Because archetypes are symbolic representations of types of people or stories or however you want to word that. I'm not wording it right, I know that, but most people know what an archetype is. And it's because whenever you see that archetype, you see that person, there's certain characteristics just by seeing a character that's not even speaking or moving, like a picture of Thor with the fucking hammer and lightning in the background, saying Thunder God or something like that. And, whatever the case is, that's going to be powerful to your mind. Same with Zeus, same with... Jesus, the cross, all these things are archetypal. They're already in your mind. And that's like young a lot of different psychologies. And so, anyways, they've discovered that, basically, in a manner of speaking. And I can't tell you how because I don't remember. Maybe I never even knew. But they've, in a manner of speaking, have discovered that we are born with the symbolism already implanted in our minds. Okay? It's already there. It's there right from the fucking get-go. So, that's why this shit's powerful. And it's not the words. All these different names for that same character are almost irrelevant, okay? Now, I use them all because I don't know, but obviously the oldest ones have been around that people have said the most, have the most power, but it's that archetypal person, that being, the one day of the week that's the thunder god. It's Jupiter, it's Zeus, it's Thor, it's Krishar, it's El, it's I can't remember anymore, but you know what I mean? And then the one for Venus, Aphrodite, Inanna, Astarte, Ishtar, you know what I mean? Hermes, Thoth, Mercury, Raphael, all those names, like, those are archetypes with different names, but they all have different names from different cultures that gave them those names. So I invoke all the different cultures' names for that one archetype within me. Because whether that's an energy center within me, whether it's just an archetype that I can play on, or a part of me, part of my body wants to do this, part of my body is Hermes and all that, but the other part of my body is Thor, and the other part of my body is Mars. You know, I'm a fucking warrior, but at the same time, I like things like Venus likes, you know, I like beauty. You know, these are archetypal fucking shits that are inside of me. And regardless of the fucking name or the culture or the whatever you decide to do, I mean, those things are inside of you. So you can pick whatever tradition you want to represent those different archetypes to yourself. It won't matter. I tend to use as many as I know about, so I use all the energy that's ever been in those names. Whether that's right or wrong, I mean, I'm sure one day I'll find out, you know, if it's better to not do multiple names or it is better to do multiple names. But until that day, I'm going to keep doing it because it's fucking working. So, but that's just another example of why the mind represents and likes these archetypes and these symbols and how it, you know, uses pictures to see, because all it does. That's what these archetypal stories are. That's why if you go watch a movie with these motherfuckers in it, like a fucking Marvel movie with all these cocksuckers, or the Thor movie with straight up like Frida is Venus, Loki I believe would be Mercury, even though people say it's Rahu. But I mean, you know, before you know about Rahu, you might just think Mercury. But because, you know, he's got the staff and he's got the two big horns like on top of Mercury's head, right? It's the fucking big U thing. So, you know, I think that's what they were going for more than Rahu. But nonetheless, alright, okay. But anyways, so, you know, you watch something like that and it's pretty self-evident that, you know, that people know about these fucking archetypes and all that shit. So, that's just more symbolism for your mind and why you can use those stories. I mean, you can talk to those candles because those candles are archetypes that are already in your mind. So you're calling on these gods, whether these gods are real gods somewhere or not. Okay, when you put them on a candle and you ask the sun or Jupiter or Venus to bring you something, it's like in your mind you're asking a symbolic God that's already in your mind, you know, because, you know, all our ancestors probably thought these were real gods. Maybe they fucking are. Maybe I don't know shit. My ancestors that believed in these gods are actually right, you know? Who the fuck knows? And that's why just do whatever, whether you believe in it or not. If you fucking, I mean, believing in it is obviously more powerful when you do believe in it. And I believe in putting these things on candles will make the thing happen for me. So, you know, this is my conscious intellect getting in the way, trying to rationalize what I'm doing. But on a subconscious, symbolic level, it really doesn't matter what my conscious mind is talking about right now. If I use those names to carve in a candle and ask for something, it works. So whether it's because it's just using those names as power, it's symbolic, it's fucking archetypal, it doesn't fucking matter. It works. So I can justify it no matter whichever fucking way. But because I use that formula, and I know that formula works, it really doesn't matter why that formula works. Now, I like trying to figure it out because it's very, not really necessarily empowering, but for me, it's like eye-opening when I can come up with a way to explain it that makes sense and it corresponds to something else. So like I said before, if you have an idea, if you have this formula, or you have this, whatever it is, okay, you have this type of magic, let's say, that you have this idea of why it works, and you want to explain that to people. And you can take that idea and you can compare it to electricity and their laws. Then you can take it and compare it to other different scientific laws and other physical things. Maybe it relates to like cooking somehow, how the process of putting something in the oven and why you gotta do certain things with whatever the case is. You have this fucking process and you can compare it on different levels to different things, and it makes sense at every one of those levels, and you can't tear it apart. Then to me, it's a working theory, and more than that, it's probably an accurate theory. Now, if you have a theory and it only works on one or two levels, but there's other levels in this realm that you can tear it apart. Now, I'm not talking metaphysical, because like you can take anything to any metaphysical realm and make it make sense, because you know their laws are different than our laws, absolutely. But if you have it in our realm and you can get it to work on multiple levels, well then you got a working theory, in my opinion. And that's the kind of that's the theories I try to bring out here and give to you guys, so that I'm not just talking on my ass. But I mean, I'm sure there's some that I fucking commented on or speculated on, and hopefully I said this is just speculation or my opinion, and not told you that I think this is a real fact or anything like that. But you know, I'm sure there is some things that I've commented on in the past that, you know, weren't completely and 100% accurate, or one of those working theories that I said that I could try to tear apart. But nonetheless, that's the law of correspondence, as above, so below, working in action there too. And I mean, it's got to fit all the other laws. It's got to have the law of gender present within there, the law of polarity, all these other laws, cause and effect. All those things are present within there, and you can, you know, try to break it down. You can't. You got to work in theory. So anyways, I don't know why I started talking about that, but I did. And anyways, I'm just going to start my fucking show now. And I hope everything's uploaded, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little intro to it. Probably won't be any songs because I'm driving, but who knows? But anyways, hope you have yourselves a great fucking day. And, you know, magic. Practice, learn, fucking ritual, fucking turn it into a fucking habit. Get it going, you know? No better time than now to start doing this shit, because I'm telling you, something's coming. I'm not saying it's good or bad, because I don't know, but you're going to want to be able to create things in your reality, and you don't want to be able to do it in desperation. So, meaning if you're worried about anything from COVID to vaccines to fucking the power going out to you not having heat to you going broke. If you're in a semi-good place where it's not desperate right now, you start doing the candle magic or whatever magic calls out to you right now, and start writing that you're so grateful that these things, you're free from all these things, and more than that, you invoke the opposite. So that by the time that comes around, it's either going to manifest before that, so you don't have to go through those hard times, or it's a few days into those hard times, and then boom, your manifestation comes. You've already set the groundwork. Time to prepare, plan ahead. So right now, if you think, or you know you're going to be broke in the new year or something like that, and I'm free from being broke in the new year, by the way, but, you know, if that's generally the way it goes, well, you start casting right now that you're free from being broke and moneyless, and well, don't say moneyless because that's a negative word, but free from all this debt and arrears payments in the new year, and you accept and invoke an abundance of fucking wealth, financial, currency, monetary, cash wealth that's been expanded by Jupiter and, you know, invoked by Venus. I don't know, something like that. I mean, there's a reason we get paid normally. One of the most popular paydays, and I get paid every Friday, and I've had jobs where it was Wednesday and Tuesday, like EI's Tuesday and all that, but the majority of people get paid on Thursday and Friday. Jupiter or Venus. And for the majority, it's, I think, here in Canada anyways, I think for the majority it's Venus. It's always on Friday, and people think it's like, well, it's because it's the end of the week and all that. And absolutely, I mean, that makes the most sense, right? The end of the fucking week. But, in the same sense, you know, there's other reasons behind it. And you can say, well, it's because it's the end of the week. And like, yeah, it probably is because it's the end of the week. In the same sense, that end of the week just happens to be the same day, the Earth Day. You know, anyways, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I really need to keep going on that. So, without further ado, let's get into the fucking show, shall we?
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for. You've been searching in the dark, your sweat soaking through the floor. And buried in your bones, there's an ache that you can't ignore. Taking your breath, stealing your mind, and all that was real is left behind. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. Your fever dream, can't you see, getting closer. Just surrender, cause you feel the feeling taking over. It's fire, it's freedom, it's flooding open. It's the preacher and the pulpit and your blind devotion. There's something breaking at the brink of every wall that's holding all that you know. So tell me, do you wanna go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night? Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. Colossal we come, these renegades in the ring, where the lost get found and we crown them the circus kings. Don't fight it, it's coming for you, running at you. It's only this moment, don't care what comes after. It's burning, outshining anything that you know. Just surrender, cause you're coming and you wanna go where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night. Impossible comes true, intoxicating you. This is the greatest show. We light it up, we won't come down, and the sun can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. Where it's covered in all the colored lights, where the runaways are running the night. Impossible comes true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. We light it up, we won't come down, and the walls can't stop us now. Watching it come true, it's taking over you. This is the greatest show. This is the greatest show.
Alright, what the fuck is up, y'all? Driving home today from Wudot. Bright as fuck in this car now. I don't think I ever drove home like this. Driving on tours. It's not so bad because you gotta wake up in the morning, but driving home like this, I gotta talk loud because I realize my videos are very low with this window open. Going 140. My wife will kill me. Oh, yeah, but I originally got this car taken away from me thinking 140, but it was in a 70 zone, so, it is as it is. Anyways, I don't know what the fuck to talk about. I just want to talk. I wanna talk. So, I'm gonna talk. Now, I know I've said I'm gonna be talking about symbolism, so I should be talking about symbolism, the specific symbolism I use. But I mean, I can go over that. Like, I always tell you more or less what I'm not like lying or, not telling you what I say. Like when I say I write on a candle, I tell you I'm doing Jupiter. I do all the names from Jesus to Zeus to Thor to Krishar, which is not Krishna or anything like that. I'm doing Krishar, the Mesopotamian god. And I'm gonna hit them all, everyone I know. If it's the sun, I'm gonna even do Mithra, Sun, Apollo, Ra, so on and so forth. And then below that, like in the past, I used to put my sigil on it, and I would write, I will be harm-free, so motive be. I wouldn't include that in the sigil, although I have done that as well, and both ways work. So if you got a very small sigil and you want more letters, add I will be harm-free, so motive be into your sigil, so you can see those letters out. But I like writing that, because the more you write that, the more it's repetition in your mind that anything you put before those words is what you want to manifest. Because like everything after I write, because Did I write, I am grateful almost every single time. Almost every single time. Sometimes I say thankful and grateful, thankful, honored, it's very seldom, but the majority of the time it's I am grateful for whatever I want to happen, but I say it as in the present tense. So it comes to me in present tense. So I'm putting energy in the present tense. Meaning, put energy into the future, you're never going to get it because it's in the future. Put energy into the past, well, it's like you already get it, so you're not going to get it. But if you put energy into the present, create whatever it is on the astral plane, and then you get it. I can't put it any more simpler than that. Oh, that's fucking strong, man. Ooh. Anyways, so, and then I get the truck driver, and then like that. You know, quite a few. My cousin is. But, anyways, he seems like he's a pretty good truck driver. Got in and got out. Kind of like when I was single. Get in, get out. Oh, just kidding. I can't wait to get the fuck home. It's been a long day. And, as much as I like my job, I've been talking about it. Like, today was a rough day. I'm not gonna lie. Dropped the ladder. That was cool. Fuck. Oh, it's so embarrassing. I don't act like a big shot. Never ever gonna see me act like a big shot. Or pretend I know something when I don't know something. I'm not that person, okay? I used to act like a know-it-all, but I would act like a know-it-all to the things I thought I knew something about. Now I've even dropped that because I know it doesn't serve me to pretend like I know a lot about something. Maybe I do that on here, I don't know, but I try not to. But, I don't pretend like, I know how to lift ladders. I lived ladders for like years, I lift ladders all the time when we were fucking doing roofing, but, this ladder was bigger than the one I've lifted, and bam, it came down. I tried to stop it with all my might, and I just couldn't. The wind took it, and then he looks at the first corner I did. The first day we worked, it was just brutal. My screws were not in line at all, and oh man. So, he's like, I don't want to see that again. He was very nice about it, so, props to him. He could have lost his mind. He's like, what the fuck? Why didn't you come to see me? And tell me you were having problems. Like, well, I told I didn't know I had a problem. I did that corner at night, and, I didn't see the lineup. I wasn't looking at it, so I'm glad to be done. It's my first day working this job, so. But, he didn't even do any of that, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, I can't wait to fucking get home because of, But I mean, the day went by fast. We didn't take our lunch till like fucking 2:30 until 3. And then we got to the new site, measured all the house, put the eavesdrop up, and, called it a day, came home. Or I'm on my way home now. So, but anyways, when I literally do a candle, I literally write, I am grateful for, what was the last thing I did that manifested I can tell you about? I gotta be careful because I write similar things over and over again. Especially when it comes to money, to always make sure my finances are kept. Alright, so if you're gonna move your set point, okay? So what happens is everybody has a financial set plan. It's something that's been programmed into you via watching your parents, via your mental, your conscious, what you consciously think you are. So if you go around thinking you're middle class, or saying you're middle class, or lower class, especially if you go around saying that, oh yeah, I don't make much money and shit like that, well, you are making and reaffirming that you have a very low set point. So doing money magic is, you want big sums of money. Well, if you only make 30 grand a year and you're asking for 10 of it all at once, it's gonna be like, how the fuck do you want that to happen, So you want to set your financial set point. How would you go about doing that? Well, don't ever underestimate candle magic. You can do a whole lot for candle magic. Now, if you're not the type that writes on a candle every night like I have been doing, and are simply able to write things into existence by using a candle because you've been doing it for the last 3 fucking years like I've been doing it, at that point, I say start doing it. If you start doing it, and you can say, well, it's not going to take 3 years. It'll probably take about a year. It might even be sooner. Depends on how fast and how much belief you have in this working. If you listen to my stuff and anybody else talks about candle magic working, you're going to reinforce that belief in no time. It really depends on if you get the programming in your mind that candle magic works, and then you start doing candle magic every day, then it will work. So you have the software in there, you're running the fucking program, and you're actually taking the action, thought, with the emotion, and bam, like you'll be doing it. I swear, I have no doubt in my mind, 100% works for me, I swear to God. But, you know, if you want something that works really well, sigil magic works really well. Make a sigil, it's just a statement of what you want. Alright, that's when my wife fucking calls and asks me where the fuck I am. She saw a cop fly by the house, so she assumed it was me getting pulled over. So, anyways, holy fuck. Shut the window, put my smoke out. I think I'm about 15, 20 minutes away from my town. Yay, my eyes are fucking tired as shit. My wife wants me to go to the gym with her. Oh, I kind of told her I would, but my baby also was crying when she got home because she misses me, so I think I might just spend time with the baby. But anyways, back to the sigil. So, to make your sigil becomes your statement of intent. Okay, so you take all the vowels and double consonants out, or some people do the vowels. I don't know. Oh. Towards the end, when I was making sigils, I don't make sigils too often unless I want to put a whole lot of energy into something. If I don't have a lot of time for something, because like, you know, I do a candle every night, so I'm always performing a specific magic for a specific goal, and generally goes by what god of the day it is. So, fucking Venus, we have Thursday and Friday, you know, that's Jupiter Day and Venus Day. So, generally money or, you know, whatever. Financial things, earthly things, or emotional things for Jupiter, same with the moon. When it comes to Mars, on Tuesday, it's action-oriented, discipline, fire, you know, strong, strength. And sometimes, you know, I'll mix and match. I'll go mental strength, you know, get Mars to help me out with some mental strength, even though the mental is governed by Saturn and Mercury and the Sun, or being more conscious and the mental air side of you, but, you know, and then, I think I got the ball, right? Venus was the first one I said, the Jupiter, so yeah. Point is, do something every night, and it's like, I don't, because I don't mind. I'm not depolarized completely, but I'm pretty depolarized to the point where it's like, I know my finances are going to get bad and going to get worse, and I don't worry about that. I know that if I keep casting for more and more money, then there's going to be less time, like, it's not money necessarily, but I cast for financial security, financial balance, being able to have money in the bank, getting increases, you know. I do that kind of magic, whereas I'm not always just casting for $3,000. I know I use that example a lot, but I'm not always just casting, fucking another cop, I'm not always just casting for $3,000 over and over and over again. Fuck me, man. Anyways, but, you know, so when I do sigils now, it's because I want to put a whole lot of energy in a little bit of a time. So I'll make a fucking sigil. I'll fucking record my statement of intent on a recorder and then go to fucking bed to it, meditate with it on, do my dishes with that shit on, you know, over and over and over again. I might even take it further, do a hypnosis script. I might whip out my consecrated book that's consecrated that what I write in there happens, and I gotta write that in story form, and, you know, whatever. Obviously visualizations, all that shit. When I go to my altar. So, as you progress through the curriculum, or maybe you're doing just witchcraft, when you get in the astral, after you do your lesser banishings, your middle pillar and all that, maybe you're doing meditation on the card and other meditations on a point, whatever the case is, you're doing all that. Well, after all that, before you, if you're doing, and if you're further along and you're doing lesser of the greater rituals of the hexagram, and, you know, opening the watchtowers and all those things, well, you do all that as well, which all helps, because, like, reducing Saturn's effect on you, which is the point of the greater ritual of the hexagram, which reduces all the planets' effects on you. So if you have any karma tied to them, or they're trying to, you know, because those planets are tied to your emotions, to a whole bunch of things. So when you reduce their effect on you, it's easier to perform magic and get the results that you only start doing that for 6 months to a year if you're a neophyte. There's there's order to the structure, you know, it's ordered and structured in a perfect way, I think, anyways. But, so you're at that point of your ritual before you close the watchtowers, before you do the lesser vanishing on the pentagram at the end, and, you know, before you do your Kabbalistic cross and close the circle. There's a point in the ritual where it's you in front of the divine. You did all your other opening rituals and rites. You're ready to go. So, on top of doing a candle, doing a sigil, putting a sigil on the candle, doing different candles, doing all the different symbolism I just said, you know, all those other little ways. I'm sorry, everybody, I'm fucking tired. Or I don't have enough oxygen coming in, so I'm yawning and it's forcing it in. Big, deep inhales and going straight. Anyways, I'm not going to tell you the science of it. Yawn. But I do know it. But anyways, so you're there. You're in your mental. You're in your astral. Or, you know, like attracts like. You're kind of there, right? Well, you're right there. So you visualize what you wanted, okay? And you visualize it as if you've already have it. And you turn those emotions right up as much as you can. If you get tears of joy, do it. If you dance around in excitement and sad and put energy that way into it, do it. But this is the whole cast for it kind of thing. Like, go into your ritual in your temple, in your mind, this extension of your mind, which is your temple room or in front of your altar, and this is what you're doing. You're calling that to you, okay? You are putting yourself in that emotional state, that vibration, whatever. You are mimicking what you think it's going to feel like when that thing happens for you. And you're pretending it's already happened because you're creating it on the astral plane, right? You're saying this is already on the astral plane. See, look. In my astral plane, I'm in my mind, my mental plane, and it's here. So that's what you're doing, which is, guys, oh man, it's brutal. But this is where the Hermetic principles and different things come into play. So you're trying to affect the subconscious mind, the moon, which is the female, the mother, the subconscious mind, right? It's all the moon. So that's the moon governs the astral plane, right? So you are having to use your will. This is what I say magic is, using your will to create change and conformity with your will. So you are in the astral in front of the divine feminine, your own mind, that part of you that creates your reality. And you're using the masculine energy, the male energy, the will, along with the masculine energy of air and fire. So the air is the thought. So you have this visualization, which is the thought of you already having this in your reality. You're adding that's a male energy. Well, it's a positive energy, let's just say, but you know, it's male, right? Saturn, Mercury, Sun is air, and then Mars is fire. So all those guys, they're all guys except for maybe Mercury, who's hermaphroditic, but you know, there's more positive than there are negatives there, right? So those are the two male energies that you're using right up the hop. And then you have to add some female energy into there, which is your own emotion. But you're adding that emotion as you are impressing it, right? Because, you know, you want this to become Earth. So you have one positive plus, you know, you have all this positive plus one negative. The point is, that's why it works. This is what you're doing. So you add that to like the candles and all that. You're going to have so much energy in this. So it's not only have you done it within your mind or on your temple and all that, but you also have a candle you make, you know, there's a sigil on that candle. People might not see it on that candle, but their subconscious mind sees it. So every time, like, if you have it somewhere anyways, I mean, if you can get away with putting your candle out of your temple room and somewhere where people can walk by, it can serve the purpose. You don't even have to do that. You can put your sigil on like the fridge or stove or whatever before you end up burning it out of this existence, so that you no longer have that physical representation of what you want here. And if you created enough energy on the astral plane for that, well, it'll have to filter down here because what's up there has to come down here, right? That's how it works. So there's a couple ways of magic and symbolism and how it works and what you got to do. So the point of ritual magic, when you're doing the neophyte, you're doing all these exercises that you have no idea what they're for. Well, on top of all the things I've already said, what they're for, like banishing your self-negative talk, and getting rid of, you know, people, you know, shooting fucking psychic energy at you or whatever, their thoughts thinking you're a piece of shit or you wish you would just do this. Well, protecting yourself from that and your own negative talk and any other thought forms that you've created that you don't even know about and other people have created that are around your house, you know, unless you're banishing X's all those fuckers out, gets rid of them, and then you have the archangels that you're working with that help protect you all the time. You're always protected at this point. So it's beneficial in that way. Absolutely. One of the best things you can do is to start this practice. But it's to get you so that when you're in your astral mind, plane, whatever, and you're casting for things, well, you don't have these entities because you spent 6 months to a year of just doing the banishings in the microcosmic orbit, increasing your own energy, and then you start the greater ritual of the hexagram at this point with all those things, but you banished all the negative energy in your house, and you've invoked a bunch of energy, you got on good terms with all the archangels, and then now you're lessening the planet's effects on you, so it's so easy for you to create what you want. This thing is so fucking powerful. All you have to do is start, and it'll be so, I'm telling you, but those are some of the ways that, you bring stuff to you. Affirmations are great, but I think if you use affirmations, you should always supercharge it. You shouldn't just go around saying them. I mean, from time to time, if you're in a low place and, you're thinking the opposite, well, that's when you say, no, I reject that thought and I, invoke, and then you say your affirmation or something like that. But for the most part, it's enough to have it on loop when you first wake up, when you're on your way to bed, and any other time during the day, like when you're not maybe in the theta or alpha state. But when you get in those states, it's putting it right into that subconscious mind, moon, astral for you. And you don't have to do anything. It's playing for you. It's better if it's in your voice, but it's playing right in there for you. To me, that's the best way to do affirmations. Fuck having to say it, record it, fucking put it on there, and that's it, you're done. I mean, I have whole episodes about recording an entire ritual. Okay, so if you record the audio of you doing the ritual, then you can do, because this is not to replace doing the ritual at your altar by any means, but let's say you're either, if you're having trouble memorizing your ritual, well, this will help, because then you can listen to it every night. It's as if you're doing your ritual while you're sleeping, which will protect your mind while you're sleeping if you're worried about psychic or entities attacking you and shit like that. If you have you doing the lesser banishing, being in your astral, and drawing out a circle, well, you'll be protected all fucking night long. And you say, well, that's only in the mental. It's like, well, that's what you need to protect when you're sleeping, is your mental, your subconscious. Because it's wide open, and the conscious mind isn't there to protect it. Once again, the conscious mind, your ego, whatever you want to call it, they're two different things, but people like to lump them together, the conscious mind and the ego and all this. Well, it doesn't matter. Whether you want to use your ego, your identity, conscious mind, whatever one of those you want to fucking call it, you're supposed to protect your subconscious mind with it. The male protects the female, because the female is more powerful, but she's more vulnerable. So the male is not as powerful, but he is able to stop harm from happening to the female. And the female is able to give the male whatever the fuck he wants. But if they're not working together, then it ain't worth a fucking damn. So that's the point of all this, and that's what the 7 hermetic principles literally teach you. I mean, it's one of the many things they teach you, but it's like how to use your conscious mind to protect your subconscious mind. It doesn't matter, because once you're aware of how the TV can affect you, and how programming can affect you, and how negative self-talk can affect you, and how different actions can affect you, and bad emotions can affect you, and creating soft ones by accident, and being stuck in a loop, and replay, and whatever, all these things, it's like, no. So your conscious mind has to protect you from all of that, because you're trying to hone in and use your subconscious mind for your benefit. But if you start having success, okay, you don't have success yet, then whatever, you're just still doing the same shit you always did. But once you start having success, well, if you are going to dwell on any negative thoughts or bad thoughts, or even think about a relative dying, you can cause it, because you have tapped into that power. And it's something to be seriously taken fucking serious. It's not a fucking game. It's not a fucking joke. This is why I ain't learning any fucking book. At least not yet. But, and maybe, like I said, I go to sleep with books all the time, and I don't actually read them. And I have information, so who knows? This could be from my book. But I made programming. I did magic, and did it over and over and over again to make sure that when I want to manifest something, okay, when I want to speak something into existence, or whatever the case is, okay, I have to use either reject, banish, deny, and say invoke whatever after, meaning I've got to banish the thing I don't want and invoke the opposite that I do want. That's one way I can manifest in my reality. The other ways are my consecrated book, at my altar or via candle magic, okay? I made that very specific, and by always doing a candle every night, it reinforces that. By doing my ritual, it reinforces that. So this way, if I do say something stupid, I'm not going to be, because like who knows, right? Just because I put that programming in me doesn't mean if I by accident do everything right, get the formula right, but, and I shouldn't have, that may or may not save me. But because I'm trained, I've been training, I know enough that if I do something like that in front of somebody and I realize it later, or I only say it once, well, I'm saying the opposite way more times in one day than, if I fuck up once or twice. So the odds of that happening are very slim. But the point is, by doing your ritual at your altar all the time, or by doing candle magic all the time, well, it becomes a habit, and it becomes the way that you manifest things. You know what I mean? So all the other programming that you may or may not have, if this becomes the norm for you, well, all that other crap might just fall off. You're not using it anymore. You're not using the programming that you've been programmed since you were a kid anymore, and you're doing your own programming. You're doing your own thing by, doing the candle magic and doing the altars and doing the sigils and all that shit. So you don't have to really worry about it anymore, which is awesome, which is kind of the point. You are taking control of where and when and how you manifest. It's more than just manifesting reality. It's taking control of how you do it, so that if you, by accident, get the formula right and you're in this state or a bad place or whatever the case is, well, it's a fail-safe for that. If you can't use your conscious mind to protect it because your conscious mind has, been compromised, you're in a bad place, you walked in on your wife cheating on you, you lose a relative, someone just broke into your house, something happened to your child or whatever the case is, and you're in a bad fucking place, but you've been creating reality for years. Well, what happens is that you can lose it all, but by having these habits put in place specifically, there's a good chance that even though you might curse something that you will want to take back later, well, because of the way you manifest for the last 3 years consecutively only in these ways, then whatever you end up cursing in the moment then may or may not happen. That's kind of what I'm saying. So it's a good habit to get into, and it's kind of the point. Whatever method you decide to use to try to manifest and move up in the world and realize that, we can create what we want. We just got to find the technique that works for us, For me, fucking seriously, candle magic. And, I can't overstate it, and I think I beat it to death in the past. So for all the people who are just watching me now that haven't watched my older stuff, it's like, well, I got plenty of videos on why reject, banish, deny is the first line of defense. It's the first line for everything and anything, man. It'll protect you from entities, energies, your own self-negative talk, from anybody doing anything, from anything being around you, anything, everything and anything, your own programming. It'll protect you from your own programming. So your programming wants to kick in. This is why being depolarized helps, because if you're not depolarized, then you won't be able to recognize and counter with reject, banish, deny. Because, you'll be polarized still, and as soon as programming comes up, you'll just go along with it, and you won't be able to even use reject, banish, deny. You know how I know? When I first started, I had polarizing things. I read the book, I knew how to do it, and, I would do, I'd reject 2 or 3 things a day, whereas now I'm rejecting, 25 things a fucking day. As soon as I get a fucking bad thought, first thing I fucking do, now I reject that fucking thought and accept the opposite. And I don't say that, I say the opposite. So I was like, oh, fuck, man. I was like, no, I reject that thought. And I said that bill's going to be paid on time or earlier. I wrote the offers I want to be Corey LeBlanc, the rest of my names, and I said, you know what I mean? And all that is such a routine that you know what I mean? I even say it to you guys on here now, where I don't even have to go that far. You don't even have to do half those steps. But I implemented those steps because that's my own little signature. That's my own little whatever brand of weird, but it's my own brand of fucking what is important to me and why I do it. And if I do a spell and that's not on it, like someone say, hey, let's go to my head and say, you fucking do a spell for me to get money right fucking now, okay? I'll do the spell, and then, according to the books and all that, I would do everything right, but it won't manifest because it's not me putting my signature on it and all that shit. And they don't need to know that, you know what I mean? Unless they watch my show. Like, do it. It's like, okay, just make up your name. Fucking no. Kill me, motherfucker. Don't give a shit. I ain't fucking being forced to do magic for anybody. That's why I don't watch TV anymore. I ain't doing magic for nobody against my own fucking will. Because doesn't matter if it's a gun in my head or fucking from the TV. I ain't fucking doing it no more. I manifest for me and my fucking family, and that's it. No one's forcing me to fucking manifest. If someone wants to make me feel like a piece of shit, if magic isn't fucking good, whatever the case is, well, they can go fuck themselves, because I don't give a shit. My shit works, and it works damn good. Anyways, I don't know why I got onto that. So that's some symbolic ways that you can do magic. And, you know, look them up if I'm not very clear, but I've been promoting and putting the PDFs on my videos for a while now. The book of all the great works of transformation, which has every ritual and everything, and a whole bunch of lists about if I have different symbolic things that come to me. I know I'm supposed to get a Jupiter sigil, or oh no, I'm supposed to get a specific ritual for you, Jupiter. If I can find it, I'm not too busy with my daughter and everything else, I'll come back on and do that. If not, I'll probably do it next time. But anyway, so yeah, if I don't see you in a little bit, it's because I decided to not come back on, because I'm gonna go fucking do something else, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, if I don't come back on, I can have a great fucking day.
Merry meet. That statement right there needs a little explanation, for I find that not many know what it means. It's a very old greeting amongst witches to remind ourselves of the dark times that we have come through, because it's a password, if you will, that only witches would know, to remind us that we were there meeting in secret in some forest far away at the festivals to be merry, even though back when they first came up with the statement, there was not a whole lot to be merry about. We were persecuted, hunted down. All the ancestors of all the traditions that become what we call today witchcraft and Wicca were in hiding and come through some very dark times. And our elders like to remind us of that a lot. So I won't remind you too much about that, but to explain the statement of merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Now, of course, merry meet was when you greet, so that's our greeting. I don't want to waste too much time on explanation for my 30 minutes here, but what I'm doing now is an introduction course in witchcraft from my perspective, designed for YouTube and the general cyber audience, because I find there is need of such a thing. I'm working on a DVD, and that's a bigger project, and this is just me chilling with you, talking about witchcraft. It's a dark day out. It's raining. It's pretty slow around here right now. I'm sure I got 30 minutes to talk about witchcraft. I'm Birch Tree, and I've been doing this a very long time. You want to hear exactly how long? Well, I can refer you to my own videos. You can go see how the birch tree grew, 1, 2, and I don't know if there's 3 of them, but how the birch tree grew. There's definitely my introduction. As I glance at the syllabus for a typical intro to witchcraft course, and what brought you here, and describe your spiritual practice. People talking, introducing themselves. So that'll suffice for my introduction if you don't already know who I am. I start every class from biggest to smallest. from the biggest thing, and try and narrow that down. God, Goddess, all that is. I have several videos on huge perspectives on God and Goddess, but this is the intro portion. Suffice it to say that witches believe, for a great many number of reasons, and this of course goes for Wiccans too, that since we are made in the image of our Creator, there must be a masculine and feminine equivalent of that. Makes perfect sense, right? It makes no sense for there just to be a male god when we have male and female. Almost everything in the floras and faunas has that. So we see God has to be that too. We go further and we see that, animals, plants, all these things we as witches also see as God, or recognize the divine spark of divinity within it. So therefore God's going to manifest as other things. Plants, animals, these are also God. But in the smaller picture, every witch, every Wiccan is going to have at least a god and a goddess. They may have names. They may have pantheons. Pantheons are pretty much, geographical regions of the deity. Some people are going to lean towards Celtic or Greco-Roman or Italian now, and the Italian ones kind of do the Greco-Roman and Etruscan and all kinds of other things. The South American, Centurion type. Wherever you go, there's pantheons. There's all the varying Norse and Germanic ones, which don't necessarily consider themselves witchcraft or Wicca or anything of the kind. Though all these religions seem similar everywhere we go. All these paths come from the same old pagan ideas that seemed to be as prevalent as the wind and dirt. People tended to come up with a lot of similar ideas all over the world. And they personified the things going on around them as deities, and deities going through cycles of things. And then around the year 2000, we started to get generic deities. So nowadays, you can have just God, just goddess, a father and a mother that don't necessarily have a name, don't necessarily have a piece of the world that they come from. They may have some vague image on a statue. You know, there are many, for instance, we have many goddesses going like this with spirals on their bellies, which is actually, it's a few different goddess imageries smooshed together that become this just kind of generic goddess with a spiral on her belly. But each one of those was an image of a very specific goddess that have all kind of come together through some sort of natural occurrence. So to make a long story not too much longer, we tend to believe in a god and goddess and many manifestations thereof. And some people are going to have different gods and goddesses for different occasions, just like a Catholic's going to call on different saints depending on the day. And there too, then there's the Catholic witches that are calling on saints instead of gods, seeing that the saints are the gods and the goddesses, because that was something that the Christians did to us. You can go on forever studying the burning times and our dark histories, and I suggest you do it, but we could go on and on. We could just have a class just on that. But suffice it to say that a long time ago, Christianity and paganism were not enemies. Rome persecuted the Christians. The Druids didn't persecute the Christians. Pagan is a broad term. We'll define that later. But later down the road, things turned ugly for one reason or another. And for some reason, the Christian church made a power grab all over the world. And my perspective is that they tried to destroy all the religions that they had borrowed, all the components that they created their religion out of. But that's just me. Christianity is this massive eclectic religion that just gathered all these things from all over. And at some point, it becomes a religion of men in power. It becomes a religion of the upper class. And that's when the big persecutions happen, the times that we call the burning times, the witch hunts, and all this kind of stuff tends to come about at a time when cities were converted first. Cities were converted first, they say, and the country wasn't converted yet. The country still had the old gods. They lived out there in the sticks. But here in the city, where all the men of power were, the men of power were converted first, and then they, made that the way things were, and so then the cities had to be converted. And I am generalizing the hell out of some stuff just to try and tell the story. But the cities were converted, the country people weren't converted, and there comes the first of the bashing that we tend to know of. That's where we tend to hear the term pagan comes up. Pagan was a Latin word, pagani, and pagani meant country dweller. And so when they called people pagans during these dark times, it was not necessarily just a religious bigotry word, it was a classist word. It was basically, from our modern perspective, calling the people that lived out there hicks. Calling them country dwellers was basically like calling them hicks. They live in the sticks, rednecks. And it was therefore implied that since they still lived out in the sticks, the old religion was still there. Christianity had not reached those parts yet. So that's where we first hear the term. Now, pagan is a general umbrella term for lots and lots of earth religions. Native American religions would technically be considered pagan, though I don't know if they like that. Once upon a time, the Muslims were considered pagan, though I don't know if they fall under that umbrella anymore. It's been defined and redefined. Now, likewise, back when they used the word pagan to mean a bad thing, they also used the word heathen. Heathen meant a dweller on the heath, a hill. So basically hillbilly. Heathen was used like hillbilly, and so they would call them godless heathens and pagans. And nowadays, the word heathen belongs to the Germanic Germanic-ish, I don't know how to say it, the Germanic-ish varieties of the pagan family tree. They don't necessarily want to be lumped in with the rest of us and just called pagan anymore. They've branched off, so the Satrus, the Odinists, all those, the Norse, Viking, Germanic tribes, generalizing the hell out of it again, are the heathens. That's their word. In the 1970s, it was neo-pagan, meant new pagans, but nobody tends to use that word that much anymore. Then comes Wicca, and I've got a lot of rants on that. You can hear a long version of the word Wicca. Wicca was adopted as a better word to say than witch, because witch was a scary word, and Wicca was a question mark word. Nobody knew what the hell Wicca meant. So when you said it, you got to say something else before they kicked you out of the party. So we got pagan, we got heathen, we got Wiccan, we got witch. Defined all over, which once meant the craft within what became the religion Wicca. So the craft part, the stuff you do, the spells, the trinkets, the oils, the rocks, the sticks, the stones, that was witchcraft. Wicca was the religion of witchcraft. Now that's not that easy to define, because now there's whole varieties of people using the word witch because they don't want to get mixed up with some of the varieties of Wicca that have become prevalent in the world. So we got Wicca, we got witch, now both words used pretty commonly. Wicca is a religion recognized by the federal government. It became recognized by the federal government of the United States in, I believe, 85. So officially, that's when it becomes a term in America, a legal term. There were people using it before that. It does come from across the pond. Wicca comes from gardeners' ideas, and they boil a long time before Wicca actually becomes a thing of any sort. It's an idea the gardener posed, but when Wicca becomes a force, a religion, that happens way later. And the first inklings we can see of that in America is around the 70s. We see a lot of stuff happening around 1974, a lot of documents coming out from witches organizing to decide all this stuff for the United States. Now, this is, of course, the history portion of the class, in the first class. Now, the thing we've got to keep in mind, we all have our own histories. Here in the United States, we have our own histories that aren't really looked at because we don't study them enough in history books. And I wish better with graphics, I could throw a map up. Before the United States becomes the United States, the East Coast is England, and the middle part is France, all the way up through Canada, and then the West Coast is Spain, all the way up Canada. And down, of course, down through Mexico and all that stuff. In some portion of the game, after the United States becomes the United States, Haiti overthrows France. The slaves have an uprising, throw France out, and France can no longer maintain this piece of land without that island base in between, so they sell it to America at an insane price. Now, that's just some history, but the point behind that history is we have these, in addition to the indigenous cultures living in America, we have these strips of European cultures all throughout the land. And much witchcraft seems to, at some point in our history in America, trickle down from the hills, seeming to have been there a very long time. The Ozarks and the Appalachians, some old witchcrafts in America seem to have come down from there at one point. Lady Sheba's one that we can find, although her work gets bashed quite a bit later down the road, because She rubs some witches the wrong way. She is one of the first to be writing books in America as a craft that's from here. You know, it's very related to Gardner's work, but it's up in the hills for who knows how long. My tradition...
All right, what's going on, everybody? So, got a lot of birch on here I was supposed to play, but I'm driving to work, and it's a little sketchy out here. So, snow and rain mix, and 1 degree, but with the wind, it's a little bit freezing. So, I'm just going to take my time here, and I'm actually going to put on some music or potentially something else that I can kind of, relax with rather than trying to listen to my show and work my show while I drive, which isn't a big deal. I mean, autoplay works, but for some reason, whenever you record shit on the Spreaker through the mobile app, like, I don't know if it's like for every 10 minutes they add a minute of like dead air at the end of like your recording, because like I record it, tight, or as long as I have my own dead air. But let's say I record something for exactly 10 minutes and I shut it off as soon as I'm done talking. Well, on here, it's going to be like 11 minutes with like a minute of dead air. And then if you have 20 minutes, then it's like a minute and a half to 2 minutes of dead air. And, it just keeps adding up the longer the recording is. So, I don't like having the dead air. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed thus far. Potentially, if I make another one of these or my next podcast, maybe I'll start off with where I finished off with Birch's beautiful, wonderful information. It's about halfway through. I don't even think we have technically got through the first whole intro to witchcraft. But you go to FreakFail1309 YouTube channel. If you type in Uncle Birch, it'll pop up as well. And watch the intro to witchcraft series. Very, very good for learning learning how to start if you want to do the witchcraft stuff in coordination with the ceremonial magic shit. It's kind of what I did. I mean, I got more comfortable with the ceremonial magic stuff before I started incorporating deity and all that. But anyways, all that's to say is I got to focus on the road because it's pretty bad out here. Right now I'm on a highway where everybody goes about 100 or more. Some people go like 90. It's an 80, but it's two ways, right? Incoming and ongoing traffic. So that's that. But fucking hill there. Anyways, all right. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna end the show. I hope you enjoyed. Have yourselves a great fucking day.